Do you have bad aim in Fortnite? Well, today I'll be showing you 4 ways to improve your combat, covering aim, movement, positioning and awareness. First one is aim. You only need 2 maps to get insane. I start with the Raider 464's 1v1 build fight map. You'll find some crack plays on here. It's not just about aim training, it teaches you how to adapt mid-fight. You're working on your aim, sure, but also your protection, your piece placement, even your gun loadout choices. Like if you're running around with a gun you're not comfortable with, it's gonna show, and this map makes it super clear. If someone beams you, it forces you to think about how exposed you are and how to be more protected in build fights. So it's not just warming up, it also gives you feedback. Then I hop into Raider 464's V5 mechanic map. This is hands down the best aim map in creative. Think of it like it's Kovacs but in Fortnite. This literally has every drill you need, from flick shots, tracking, shotgun drills and even 1v1 aim duels. I usually start off with some mid-range tracking bots, then switch over to flick targets. You can really feel the improvements after just a few sessions. The best part, it's not boring. You're consistently swapping between drills, so your aim stays sharp and reactive. Now, here's the part most people overlook, and it is crosshair placement. Most of the time, people are flicking because the crosshair is always too far off where the enemy actually is. So when you're moving around, you want to always have your crosshair at chest or head level and aimed where someone might peek. You'll notice instantly that you'll start hitting more shots with less effort. Now, let's move on to tracking. The best way to practice this is to either invite your friend and do aim duels with them, or you can even do this by yourself. In Raider 464's map, there's also a bot who you can do 1v1 aim duels with, and I feel like that's a pretty realistic option. Focus on staying consistent and locked on them while strafing. Try to match your movement with your aim. Alright. Let's talk about sensitivity, because this is where most people mess up. Pros usually run between 6 to 9% sense on 800 DPI, but personally I'm a high DPI player and I use 1600 DPI and around 7.5% sensitivity. This is mainly because I've got a smaller mousepad and need to move quicker with less space. But for me, my trade-off is my precision, only because higher DPI makes you faster but also harder to control. If you're just starting out, I would 100% recommend keeping your DPI low. It gives you way more control over your flicks and tracking. To find your perfect sensitivity for keyboard or controller players, I like to use Tdo's Find Your Sensitivity map. After I load in, you can see that in front of me, there's some controller and keyboard and mouse sensitivity tips. You can load into one of those maps. If your aim does feel shaky or inconsistent, I tweak it, but once it feels natural, not too fast, not too slow, I lock it in. Also, consistency matters way more than the perfect settings. If you're changing your sense every day, you're never going to get muscle memory. Find something that works and stick with it. And if you're running high sense like me, you should most likely practice more because it takes more time to master your high sensitivity compared to a person on low sensitivity. With lower sense, you can get away with less training and still hit those solid shots. So yeah, that's how I warm up with my aim. I use the 1v1 creative maps to simulate fights, and then I experiment with my sensitivity that fits my playstyle. Don't skip this stuff. It's what separates people who win fights and people who get eliminated. Now that you've improved your aim, next up is movement. Good movement makes you harder to hit, gives you better angles and baits enemies into making bad plays. We have already covered a bit on strafing, but for those of you who don't know, it involves moving side to side while shooting and crouching for added flavor. Then there's jump timing. It's not just about mashing spacebar. Jumping intentionally, like doing a right hand peek or just before a shotgun shot, helps you hit the tight angles and dodge return fire. Time it right, jump, shoot midair and land behind cover. Even when rotating, throwing in a jump makes you harder to hit. But don't overdo it. Jump fatigue kicks in fast, making your jumps shorter and easier to punish. So, use jump smart, not too often and always with purpose. A good jump can save you. Random jumps just get you beamed. Sliding is another big one. You can use it to disengage, break line of sight or fly under someone's radar. Here's an extra tip. To master this, you need to practice this right hand peek edit. Sprinting and pickaxe baiting are next level tools and are a little bit advanced, as you need to practice pre-firing to master this. If you're running at someone with your pickaxe out, it makes them think you're not ready. Then you pull out your shotgun mid-sprint and hit a surprise shot. Same with sprint cancelling. You use that burst of speed to close distance or to escape. Lastly, mounting and mantling. Use this to reposition mid-fires. People literally sleep on vertical movement. Hopping onto ledges, sliding off ramps, or even mantling over builds opens up new angles and saves you when you're getting pressured. I mix mantling with side jumps to catch opponents off guard. All of this builds into your playstyle. The more unpredictable and controlled your movement is, the harder you are to hit and the easier it is to win fights, even if your aim isn't perfect. Now, let's get into positioning. And no, I'm not talking about building skyscrapers, I mean pure combat positioning. What you do before and during a fight that makes it 10 times easier to win. First up is high ground. It's not just a buzzword, it literally gives you better visibility, better peaks, and lets you control the pace of the fight. If you're above someone, they have to look up, which messes with their recoil control, and you can take clean right hand peeks without exposing your whole body. You don't need to crank 90s. Sometimes it's as simple as taking a hill or a rooftop before engaging. Next is natural cover. Think trees, walls, rocks, cars, and any objects you can use to break line of sight. The worst players will walk around in the open with nothing to hide behind. A good player always moves from cover to cover and uses it to take fights on their team. When you peek, do it from behind something, and ideally from the right side. Fortnite gives a natural right hand advantage, so if you peek left, you're exposing way more of your body. Now, let's talk about peeking smart. You want to pre-aim where you think someone is going to show up. This ties in with your crosshair placement too. Right hand peeking is king. You should never fully expose your body when you don't have to. Crouch peeks, right hand angles, head glitches, these are all tiny edges that add up big time over multiple fights. Third partying is a big one, and a lot of people get it wrong. You want to be the third party, not get third partied. As soon as you hear two teams fighting, rotate early and quietly to a spot with clean sight lines. You don't want to jump in too early. Wait for the knock or reload sound, then strike. That's when they're weakest, but if you're already in a fight and you hear shots getting closer, back off, heal up, and reposition fast. Getting caught in the middle is a fast track back to the lobby. Positioning isn't flashy. You're not going to get highlight clips just for standing in the right spot, but it wins games. Good positioning makes bad aim look decent and great aim look unstoppable. Always ask yourself, am I exposed? Can I peek safely? Am I fighting on my terms or theirs? Answer those right and you'll start winning way more fights, even before you shoot your first bullet. Now, let's talk about awareness. Probably one of the most underrated skills in Fortnite. Aim and mechanics get all the hype, but awareness? That's what actually keeps you alive and sets up every smart play you make. First up, picking fights. Just because you see someone doesn't mean you need to shoot. Ask yourself, do I have cover? Do I have height? Am I ready? If you're low on mats, stuck in zone, or they've got a better angle, then that's not your fight. But if they're healing, distracted, or mid-reload, that's your green light. Good players don't take every fight, they take the right ones. Now, let's get into audio. In a fight, your ears are just as important as your eyes. If you're not visualizing audio, footsteps, reloads, builds, even drops, you're at a massive disadvantage. Turn on visualizing sound effects in your settings and start thinking about sound. Is someone running on wood? Is that above you or below you? Can you hear the shotgun reloading? That's your chance to push. The more you listen, the more free info you get. Then, there's pre-fight strategy. You shouldn't be landing and just hoping something goes your way. You should already be thinking about where zone might pull, what rotates you'll take, and how your third party fights. The earlier you plan, the less you panic. Every good player is always one step ahead, like Nico Cavo Avocado. Even while healing, they're planning the next move. Speaking of landing, this is where awareness starts. While you're gliding, don't just tunnel vision on your drop spot. Look around. Spot how many players are landing nearby, where they're landing, and if you can beat them to a chest. That quick info gives you the edge before you even hit the ground. If you know someone landed close with a bad drop, you can push early with confidence. If a whole trio lands on you, maybe dip out of there and loot a safer spot. Last one, reload timing. This might seem small, but it's huge. Players who reload at wrong time get caught out constantly. Don't be like them. Don't reload in the open. Don't reload mid-fight unless you're behind cover or safe. And don't empty your mag just because. Save a few bullets in the clip so you're never forced to reload when someone pushes. Great awareness means knowing when you're vulnerable and fixing it before it gets you killed. At the end of the day, awareness is just about being locked in. You're not just reacting, you're thinking, predicting, and staying 2 steps ahead. That's what separates someone who dies off spawn from someone who clutches a 1v3 with zero panic. If this helped you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next guide. Keep grinding, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.